What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mags. So this is the last game of 2024 as we see out the year down at Old Trafford to take on Manchester United. A very lacklustre Man United, I've got to say. But before we get into, of course, talking about our thoughts for this game, then I want to get on to talking about some merchandise for the channel. Now, I do have a baseball cap with Newcastle with the channel logo on it, and of course t-shirts with the channel logo on as well. These will be made to order items, so if you are interested in buying, then of course it will be made. But I just want to get a feel at the moment to see, how many people would be interested in buying some merchandise with the channel logo on, t-shirts, caps like this, just to get a feel of what people would be interested in buying. It wouldn't be too expensive neither, so if that is something that you're interested in, then by all means let us know down in the comments below if you would be interested in stuff like that on the channel. Of course, to be able to support the channel by that means, if you don't want to support the channel by that means, of course, you can do it for free still by hitting the subscribe button and hitting the like button. Also, there's a super thanks below as well if you want to support the channel by money means, but you don't want to buy merchandise. And of course, there is the membership as well, which is $1.99 a month. And you get loads of little perks like emojis and all sorts for your comments. Anyway, enough about that. Enough self-promotion. Let's get into talking about this game against Man United to see out 2024. Now, we'll head down to Old Trafford for this game. Of course, looking for our fourth consecutive Premier League win and a clean sheet. And against a Man United side that at the moment, out of their last 5 Premier League games, they have lost 4 of them games, so it isn't going at all well for Ruben Amorim as the new Man United manager. Not nearly as good as what all of the Man United fans thought it was going to be under this guy as their manager. I think that some of them wished that Ten Hag had stayed at the club, to be honest. I'm sure I have seen a few of them saying that out there. But this is an 8 o'clock kickoff live on Sky Sports, a complete sold out stadium, of course, on the away side of things for us, travelling down there. And of course, looking at the Man United team news going into it, they are going to be without, of course, a few players. Of course, in Bruno Fernandes, because he picked up a red card against Wolves. They're also going to be without Emmanuel Ugarte as well, who picked up 5 yellow cards. So he will see a 1-match suspension also. And at the moment, they are currently 14th in the Premier League. So, like I say, not going well at all for Man United. And long may that continue in my book, because, it's always fun to see Man United losing games. Just, the historic rivalry between Newcastle and Man United from the 90s. I always do take a lovely enjoyment in seeing Man United lose the games. And I'm sure there's a lot of Newcastle fans, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of other football fans out there that, take a massive enjoyment to Man United losing games. But it's just what it is. It's just historic rivalry between the two clubs from the battles in the 90s of Kevin Keegan against Ferguson, and it's just one of them things that I always take an enjoyment in seeing Man United lose games. But moving away from that, of course, like I say, they're going to be without Bruno Fernandes because of the red card. They're going to be without Manuel Ugarte because of the max 5 yellow cards I picked up. So he's going to be on a 1-match suspension as well. And looking at our team news, we do have a boost, of course, of Tino Livramento returning, hopefully back to the team after missing out on the Aston Villa win. due to an illness, which seen Kieran Trippier come in at the right back position. Then Kieran Trippier, of course, departed on the 78th minute of the game. Some people were saying that it was a knock that he maybe's picked up in the game. To be honest, I think it was just more along the lines of that Kieran Trippier hasn't played that many games for this season, so his fitness levels just aren't there at the moment, which of course he gave way, like I say, around the 78th minute for the returning Matty Target back to the squad in his first appearance since about November of 2023. Which was nice to see Matty Target back out there doing his stuff for Newcastle United and getting himself in the game as well a little bit. Nicky Pope is not that long away from returning back now, but he's not going to be able to feature in this game. Obviously, Callum Wilson and Jamal Lascelles are still quite a bit off from returning back to fitness, and Emil Kraft and Sven Botman are nearing a return. Botman, of course, not fully fit for first team games yet, and Emil Kraft also in a similar boat, not fully fit for first team games yet. The referee for the game will be Simon Hooper. He has already presided over two other Newcastle games this season, a 2-1 loss against Chelsea and a 4-2 reverse down at the G-Tech Community Stadium against Brentford. So this will be the third time he has presided over a Newcastle United game this season, so hopefully he doesn't influence the game too much, and he tries to keep himself out of the game, as he is from the Wiltshire area. Manchester really, to be honest, referee, and Paul Tinney as well from the Lancashire area, again pretty close to the Manchester area, and he is going to be on 4 for that one, Paul Tinney. Again, like I say, hopefully they don't, get influence the game too much. I've got to say, looking at the game that we played just recently against Aston Villa, Anthony Taylor, I thought did a pretty decent job, which is something very surprising, to be honest, because he has been a bit of a dodgy referee in games in the past for Newcastle, but I thought he did a pretty reasonable job in the game against Aston Villa. Didn't get himself too much involved in the game, and when he did get involved in the game, it was for the right reasons. A lot of people, saying that the John Duran red card was a bad decision. Like I've said, if you look at it back on the replay, you can see that John Duran, has the chance to plant his left foot into the ground. Instead, he decides to move it just up enough to plant it into the buttocks of course, Fabian Shaw, which that in itself puts him off of his balance, which then he decides to take his right foot, puts it into the back of Shaw, then decides to extend it out to try and reach the head of Shaw. It's so, in my eyes, that was a perfectly fine decision by Anthony Taylor. He didn't make a harsh decision on it neither. He didn't rush the decision. He did hold out and he did wait to see what VAR said on it, and they didn't argue with his decision, and rightly so on that one. But just wanted to clear that up in this match preview, of course, for the Man United one. Just some thoughts that I didn't quite get over in my match reaction to the Aston Villa game. But anyway, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Hopefully you have all had a fantastic Christmas and are still having a brilliant end to 2024. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to buy a hat like this with a channel logo on it, or a t-shirt with the channel logo on it to help support the channel, then of course let us know down in the comments below, and then we'll see what we can do from there. And also there's other ways to support the channel for free by hitting the subscribe and hitting the like button, as that does massively help the channel and it only takes a few seconds to do. And other means as well to support the channel by money, if you don't want to buy the merch, it is of course hitting the super thanks down below. Any donations are welcome, none are taken for granted. And of course there is the membership, which is $1.99 a month, and you get loads of perks like emojis and priority reply to comments as well on all videos going forward. And my score prediction for the game would be Newcastle United to come away 4-0 winners against Man United. Just adding it in there at the end because I did forget to put it in. Until next time, I'll see you all later, and how are the lads?